Human Traffickers. Advice for a prosperous life. Listen, learn, apply, and remember. Let's talk about human trafficking, but not in the way you might be used to. We need to redefine it, to see it for what it truly is. Human trafficking is not a business. It's not an economic issue. It is the highest and most extreme form of violence one person can inflict upon another. It's an assault on justice, on human dignity, and on a universal law that no one can escape. Today, we declare that it's time for justice. When we talk about violence, we often think of a single act. But trafficking is intentional. Ongoing violence, it's a calculated process of dehumanization. It takes a person, created in the image and likeness of God, and reduces them to a commodity, a product to be bought and sold for profit or gratification. It is physical violence, psychological torment, sexual exploitation, and financial robbery, all wrapped into one horrific crime. The core of this violation isn't just the action. It's the mindset that allows one human to see another as an object. This is the ultimate betrayal of our shared humanity, and justice sees it as such. Now, let's discuss a law that is more powerful than any man-made system. It's the universal law of sowing and reaping. It's simple, and it is absolute. What you sow, you will reap it in abundance. Human traffickers sow seeds of unimaginable violence, greed, and exploitation. They plant destruction in the lives of others. The universe, the law of God, is designed to respond to actions, not intentions or excuses. And that response, that harvest, will always be greater than the seed that was planted. Justice does not negotiate. A delaying consequence is not a cancellation. For every trafficker, a harvest is coming, and it cannot be bypassed, bargained with, or avoided. This brings us to a crucial point. Many of us declare justice. We pray for it. We demand it. But sometimes, it feels like our declarations fall on deaf ears. Why? Justice requires integrity. It demands that we first examine ourselves. We cannot stand and demand justice for a great evil if we are participating in a smaller version of the same harm in our own lives. Disrespect, dehumanization, and exploitation exist on a spectrum. Do we treat others with dignity? Do we honor their value? Or do we use people for our own gain, even in seemingly small ways? Justice listens only to clean hands. Before we can effectively stand against a trafficker, we must ensure we are not sharing in the spirit of their violence, no matter how minor it seems. Our actions must align with our declarations. And what about silence? Silence is the soil in which trafficking grows. Withholding justice, refusing to speak up, creates a safe space for evil to flourish. It allows the violence to continue, unchecked and unopposed. Sometimes, in the name of grace or forgiveness, we choose not to pursue accountability. But this is a dangerous misunderstanding. Forgiveness without accountability is not grace. It is enablement. It tells the trafficker that their actions have no real consequences, empowering them to harm again. Justice must be declared, and it must be enforced. It is the only thing that restores balance and protects the vulnerable. Silence feeds traffickers. Justice stops them. True forgiveness and true justice are not enemies. They are partners. Justice must come first. Accountability must be established. The law demands that the debt be paid. Only after the scales of justice are addressed can true, meaningful forgiveness even be considered. Forgiveness cannot cancel universal law. The trafficker must face the consequences of their actions. That is the only path to restoring order. The impact of this crime doesn't stop with the individual. Unresolved injustice has generational consequences. The harvest of trafficking doesn't just fall on the person who committed the crime. It creates a ripple effect that touches their ancestors and their descendants. Patterns of abuse, pain, and violence are passed down through family lines when justice is not served. These cycles of trauma repeat until someone has the courage to stand and demand that the law be honored. Declaring justice is how we break these generational curses. It's how we heal the past and protect the future. Unpaid justice becomes a generational debt. So now, let's address human traffickers directly, without fear or hesitation. We name your act for what it is: extreme violence and an abomination against humanity. To the recruiters who lie and manipulate, to the buyers who create the demand, to the enforcers who use brutality, and to anyone who protects or profits from this system, you are accountable. There is no spiritual ritual, no cultural excuse, no hidden corner of the world that can shield you from the law of sowing and reaping. Your harvest is guaranteed. Justice will collect. This isn't a call for personal revenge. Revenge is chaotic and emotional. Justice is precise, orderly, and restorative. It's about aligning with the unchanging laws of the universe. When we declare justice, we are not acting as vigilantes. We are stepping into our legal right to call upon the highest authority, God Himself, to act as the witness, the judge, and the enforcer. We are demanding the restoration of all that was stolen from the victims and the full payment of the consequences by the perpetrators. Human trafficking will end where justice begins. It ends when we stop being silent. It ends when we hold every single person in the chain of exploitation accountable. It ends when we understand the power of universal law and have the courage to declare it. The time for excuses is over. The time for negotiation is over. It is time for justice. Thank you for listening. Please share this message to help raise awareness and bring an end to this violence.